Most people walk through life hoping that things will somehow become easier. They believe that one day the problems will disappear, the pressure will fade, the struggles will stop, and everything will finally feel comfortable. But the truth is, life does not work that way. Life was never designed to be easy. There will always be obstacles, challenges, setbacks, and moments that test every ounce of your patience and strength. The sooner you accept this reality, the sooner you begin to develop a stronger mind. A weak mindset spends its time complaining about how unfair life is. It asks questions like, why is this happening to me? Or why is everything so difficult? But a strong mindset understands something important. Difficulty is not a punishment. Difficulty is not a punishment. It is part of the process. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has walked through hardship. Every successful individual has faced failure, rejection, and moments where giving up seemed easier than continuing. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is not talent, luck, or intelligence. The difference is their ability to accept that life is hard and move forward anyway. Think about the moments in your life when things did not go the way you expected. Maybe you worked hard for something and still failed. Maybe someone doubted you, criticized you, or underestimated your potential. Maybe you faced obstacles that made you question whether you were strong enough to continue. In those moments, your mind starts searching for comfort. It starts looking for excuses. It starts telling you that maybe you should slow down. Maybe you should quit. Maybe this path is too difficult. But the truth is, every challenge you face is shaping your character. Every struggle is teaching you something. Every difficult moment is building the strength that comfort could never give you. Comfort may feel good in the moment, but it does not prepare you for the realities of life. Hardship does. When you begin to accept that life will test you, something powerful happens inside your mind. You stop being surprised by difficulty. You stop feeling defeated by obstacles. Instead, you begin to expect them. And when you expect challenges, you prepare for them. You become mentally ready to face whatever stands in your way. Life will challenge your patience. There will be days when progress feels slow, when it feels like you are putting in effort without seeing results. Those are the moments when many people lose hope. They start believing that their hard work is pointless. But a hardened mind understands that growth takes time. Just because you cannot see immediate results does not mean you are not moving forward. Progress often happens quietly, slowly, and invisibly before it becomes visible to the world. Life will also challenge your resilience. There will be moments when things fall apart unexpectedly. Plans fail. Opportunities disappear. People walk away, and in those moments you have two choices. You can allow those setbacks to break your spirit, or you can allow them to strengthen your determination. The choice you make in those moments defines the kind of person you become. The reality is that life does not give special treatment to anyone. Every person faces storms. Every person experiences pain. Every person goes through periods of uncertainty and struggle. But those storms are not there to destroy you. They are there to reveal your strength. They are there to test your character. They are there to show you what you are truly capable of becoming. When you stop expecting life to be easy, you stop feeling disappointed when things become difficult. Instead of asking why the struggle exists, you begin asking how you can grow through it. Instead of running away from challenges, you begin to face them with courage and determination. The shift in mindset is what begins to harden your mind, because when you accept that life will be difficult, you stop wasting energy resisting reality. You stop wishing for an easier path, and you start focusing on becoming a stronger person. And here is something powerful to remember. The struggles you face today are preparing you for the responsibilities and victories of tomorrow. Strength is not built during easy times. Strength is built when you push forward despite the pressure, despite the fear, and despite the uncertainty. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger mentally. Every obstacle is a chance to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. The more you face difficulty with courage, the more your confidence grows. The more your confidence grows, the less power fear has over your decisions. Eventually, something incredible begins to happen. The same struggles that once felt overwhelming start to feel manageable. The same pressure that once made you doubt yourself begins to sharpen your focus. And the same obstacles that once made you want to quit become the very things that push you to grow. This is the transformation that occurs when you truly accept that life is hard. Instead of being controlled by your circumstances, you begin to control your response to them. Instead of seeing challenges as barriers, you begin to see them as stepping stones. Your mind becomes stronger because you stop running from reality. You face it directly. You understand that difficulty is not your enemy. Difficulty is your teacher. And when you finally reach that mindset, when you stop expecting life to be easy and start preparing yourself to handle whatever comes your way, you begin to develop the kind of mental toughness that cannot be easily shaken. Because once you accept that life is hard, you stop trying to escape the struggle and start becoming strong enough to conquer it. One of the greatest battles you will ever face in your life will not happen outside in the world. It will happen inside your own mind. Every single day, your mind is producing thoughts, some positive, some negative, some encouraging, and some that try to pull you down. The problem is that most people never learn how to control those thoughts. They allow fear, doubt, anger, and overthinking to take control of their decisions. And when that happens, the mind becomes weak, distracted, and unstable. If you truly want to harden your mind, you must learn to control your thoughts and emotions. Think about how often people react emotionally to situations without thinking clearly. One small failure happens, and immediately the mind starts saying, maybe I'm not good enough. One criticism comes from someone else, and suddenly the mind begins to doubt everything. One obstacle appears, and the mind starts imagining the worst possible outcome. This is how an undisciplined mind behaves. It allows emotions to drive its direction, but a strong mind works differently. A hardened mind understands that thoughts are powerful, and if you do not control them, they will control you. Fear will tell you to stay comfortable. Doubt will tell you to give up early. Anger will push you to react without thinking. Overthinking will drain your energy and destroy your focus. If you allow these emotions to guide your actions, you will constantly feel lost and overwhelmed. Mental strength begins when you realize that you do not have to believe every thought that enters your mind. Just because your mind says something does not mean it is true. Just because fear appears does not mean you should obey it. Just because doubt shows up does not mean you should stop moving forward. A hardened mind learns to pause before reacting. It learns to step back and observe the situation instead of immediately responding with emotion. When pressure rises, a strong mind does not panic. It slows down, focuses, and thinks clearly. Imagine being in a difficult moment where everything feels like it is going wrong. Your emotions begin to rise. Your heart beats faster. Your thoughts start racing. In those moments, many people lose control. They react impulsively. They say things they regret. They make decisions based on fear rather than logic. But someone with a hardened mind does something different. They breathe. They calm themselves. They remind themselves that emotions are temporary and that clear thinking is more powerful than emotional reactions. Instead of allowing the situation to control them, they control their response to the situation. This ability does not appear overnight. It is built through practice and discipline. Every day gives you opportunities to train your mind. Small frustrations, disagreements, delays, and unexpected problems are all chances to strengthen your mental control. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you practice staying calm. Instead of complaining about the situation, you focus on finding solutions. Over time, this habit begins to transform your mindset. Situations that once triggered emotional reactions start to lose their power over you. Pressure no longer shakes you as easily. You begin to develop a sense of inner stability that keeps you grounded even during chaos. Controlling your thoughts is also essential for maintaining focus on your goals. One of the biggest reasons people fail to reach their potential, because their minds constantly drift toward negativity. They think about what might go wrong instead of what they can do right. They imagine failure before they even try. When you harden your mind, you begin to redirect those thoughts. Instead of feeding fear, you focus on preparation. Instead of repeating doubts, you remind yourself of your ability to learn and grow. You train your mind to concentrate on progress rather than perfection. This does not mean you will never feel negative emotions. Everyone experiences fear, frustration, and uncertainty at times. The difference is that a strong mind does not allow those emotions to become permanent residents. They appear, they are acknowledged, and then they are released. For emotional control is also what allows you to remain steady when others around you lose control. In life, you will encounter people who react quickly, who speak without thinking, and who allow their emotions to dominate every situation. If you allow their emotional energy to influence you, you will lose your own sense of balance. A hardened mind stays calm even when surrounded by chaos. It listens carefully, thinks clearly, and responds thoughtfully. This kind of composure is powerful because it allows you to handle situations with wisdom rather than impulse. Another important part of controlling your mind is learning to quiet the noise of overthinking. Many people trap themselves in endless loops of thinking. They analyze every possibility, worry about every potential problem, and imagine countless negative outcomes. This constant mental noise drains energy and prevents action. A strong mind recognizes when thinking has become unproductive. Instead of staying stuck in analysis, it shifts toward action. It understands that progress is made through movement, not endless mental debate. The more you practice controlling your thoughts and emotions T. The stronger your mind becomes. Slowly, you begin to notice that the things which once disturbed you no longer have the same effect. Your patience grows. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence strengthens. You start to feel a sense of control over your own mind that many people never develop. Instead of being pushed around by every emotion or negative thought, you stand firm, you become steady under pressure, focused during uncertainty, and calm during challenges. And when you reach that level of control, something powerful happens. Your mind becomes your greatest weapon instead of your greatest obstacle. Because once you master your thoughts and emotions, nothing outside of you will have the power to break you. There is a moment that comes in every person's life when motivation disappears. At the beginning of any goal, motivation feels powerful. You feel excited, inspired, and ready to change your life. You promise yourself that this time will be different. You feel the energy to wake up early, to work harder, to push further than you ever have before. But motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like a wave. Some days it feels strong, and other days it completely disappears. This is where most people fail, because when motivation fades, they stop moving. If you truly want to harden your mind, you must build something stronger than motivation. That something is self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It is the ability to stay committed to your goals even when the excitement fades and the work becomes repetitive. Discipline is what separates people who only dream about success from those who actually achieve it. Think about how many times people start something with great enthusiasm but quit after a short period of time. They start going to the gym, but after a few weeks they stop. They sedge. Start learning a skill, but when it becomes difficult, they lose interest. They start working toward a goal. But when progress is slow, they give up. The problem is not that they lack potential. The problem is that they rely only on motivation. A hardened mind understands that motivation cannot be trusted. Some mornings you will wake up feeling inspired, but many mornings you will wake up feeling tired, unmotivated, and distracted. If you only work when you feel motivated, you will never become consistent. And without consistency, growth is impossible. Discipline means showing up regardless of how you feel. It means getting out of bed when your mind is telling you to sleep longer. It means doing the work even when you are tired, bored, or frustrated. It means staying focused even when distractions are everywhere. This is not easy. Your mind will constantly try to negotiate with you. It will tell you things like, just take today off, or you can start again tomorrow, or you deserve a break. These thoughts sound reasonable, but they slowly weaken your habits. One skip day becomes two. Two becomes a week, and eventually the goal you once cared about disappears. Discipline breaks that pattern. It teaches your mind that excuses are not allowed to control your actions. When you decide to do something, you follow through. Not because you feel excited, but because you made a commitment. The interesting thing about discipline is that it starts small. It begins with simple decisions that you repeat every day. Waking up on time, completing your tasks even when you don't feel like it. Staying focused when distractions appear, finishing what you started. At first, these actions may feel uncomfortable. Your mind is used to choosing the easy option. It is used to avoiding difficulty. So when you start practicing discipline, your mind will resist. It will try to convince you to return to your old habits. But every time you ignore those excuses and follow through with your actions, you strengthen your mental toughness. You prove to yourself that you are capable of controlling your behavior instead of being controlled by your feelings. Over time, discipline becomes a habit. The things that once felt difficult start to feel normal. Waking up early becomes routine. Working hard becomes automatic. Staying consistent becomes part of who you are. This is when your mind begins to harden, because discipline trains you to keep moving forward, even during the moments when everything inside you wants to quit. There will be days when progress feels slow. Days when you question whether your effort is worth it. Days when it feels like no one notices the work you are putting in. Those are the moments when discipline matters the most. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. Anyone can push forward when everything is going well, but very few people can remain consistent. When results are delayed and motivation disappears, a hardened mind does not depend on feelings to take action. It depends on commitment. It understands that success is not built in moments of excitement, but in moments of repetition. Every time you complete a task you didn't feel like doing, you build confidence in yourself. Every time you push through resistance, you strengthen your character. Every time you stay consistent, you move one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. Discipline also teaches patience. In a world where people expect quick results, discipline reminds you that real growth takes time. Skills take time to develop. Strength takes time to build. Success takes time to create. When you are disciplined, you stop chasing shortcuts. You stop looking for easy ways out. Instead, you focus on the process. You trust that if you continue showing up and doing the work, the results will eventually follow. This mindset creates a powerful sense of self-respect. You begin to trust your own word. When you promise yourself that you will do something, you know that you will follow through. That trust in yourself becomes a foundation of mental strength. Eventually, discipline becomes your advantage. While others are waiting for motivation to return, you are already working. While others are making excuses, you are building progress. While others quit when things become difficult, you keep going. This is how a hardened mind is formed. Not through one big moment of effort, but through thousands of small decisions made consistently over time. Because at the end of the day, motivation might start the journey, but discipline is what carries you all the way to the finish line. One of the biggest reasons people never develop a strong mind is because they spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They constantly search for the easiest path, the most convenient option, the quickest way to escape difficulty. They want success, but they do not want the struggle that comes with it. They want growth, but they do not want the pain that growth requires. The truth is, if you truly want to harden your mind, you must change the way you look at pain and discomfort. Instead of running from it, you must learn to embrace it. Discomfort is not your enemy. In fact, discomfort is one of the greatest teachers you will ever have. Every time you step into a situation that challenges you, your mind and character begin to grow. But when you constantly choose comfort, your mind becomes soft, fragile, and unprepared for the real challenges of life. Think about how people react when things become difficult. The moment something feels uncomfortable, they stop. If the workout becomes too hard, they quit. If the work becomes stressful, they avoid it. If the situation becomes challenging, they look for a way out. Over time, this pattern creates a mindset that cannot handle pressure. But a hardened mind understands something powerful. Everything that strengthens you lives on the other side of discomfort. Every meaningful achievement requires struggle. Every improvement requires effort. Every breakthrough requires pushing through moments where your body and mind want to stop. Those moments are not obstacles. They are opportunities. When you begin to accept discomfort as part of growth, something changes in the way you approach challenges. Instead of seeing pain as a warning to stop, you begin to see it as a signal that you are pushing beyond your limits. Imagine a person trying to build physical strength. When muscles are trained, they experience strain and fatigue. That discomfort is not a sign of weakness. It is the process through which the muscles grow stronger. In the same way, your mind becomes stronger when it is pushed beyond what feels comfortable. Mental toughness is built in moments when you feel tired, but continue working. It is built when you feel nervous, but still take action. It is built when things become difficult, but you refuse to step back. The problem is that modern life often encourages comfort. Everything around us is designed to make life easier. Entertainment is always available. Distractions are everywhere. The moment boredom appears, there is something ready to remove it. The moment effort feels difficult, there is always an easier alternative. But constantly choosing comfort weakens your mental strength. It trains your mind to expect ease instead of challenge. And when real difficulties appear, and they always do, your mind is not prepared to face them. This is why embracing discomfort is so important. It trains your mind to remain steady even when things feel difficult. It teaches you that you are capable of handling more than you once believed. There will be moments when you feel exhausted, moments when you feel frustrated, and moments when progress seems slow. In those moments, your mind will try to convince you to stop. It will tell you that the struggle is not worth it, that you deserve to rest, that you should wait for a better time. But a hardened mind recognizes those thoughts for what they are: temporary resistance. Instead of obeying those thoughts, you push through them, not recklessly, but with determination. Every time you push through discomfort, you expand your limits. What once felt impossible begins to feel manageable. What once felt overwhelming begins to feel normal. This is how resilience is built, not by avoiding challenges, but by facing them repeatedly until they lose their power over you. Discomfort also teaches humility and patience. It reminds you that growth is not always fast or easy. Sometimes the process is slow. Sometimes it requires repeat in the same effort again and again before improvement appears. But those who embrace discomfort understand that the struggle itself is valuable. It shapes your character. It strengthens your determination. It builds a mindset that refuses to give up when things become difficult. Think about the people you admire for their strength and resilience. The reason they appear strong is not because life was easy for them. It is because they faced hardship and continued moving forward. They walked through uncomfortable situations that others avoided. Every time you choose discomfort over comfort, you are investing in your future strength. You are teaching your mind that difficulty is not something to fear. You are proving to yourself that you are capable of enduring challenges. Over time, this creates a powerful transformation. The things that once scared you begin to excite you. The challenges that once felt overwhelming become opportunities to grow. Instead of avoiding pressure, you begin to welcome it. You start to realize that the moments that shape you the most are the ones that test you the hardest. Those moments reveal your character. They reveal how strong your mind truly is. When discomfort appears, many people step back, but those who harden their minds step forward. They understand that every difficult moment is a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Eventually, something powerful begins to happen. Discomfort no longer controls your decisions. Fear no longer stops your progress. You begin to trust your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. Because when you learn to embrace pain and discomfort, you unlock a level of mental strength that comfort could never give you. One of the greatest mental traps that holds people back in life is the constant need for approval from others. From a young age, many people are conditioned to seek validation. They want others to agree with their choices, support their ideas, and praise their efforts. At first, this may seem natural, but over time, this habit becomes dangerous. When your confidence depends on the opinions of others, your mind becomes fragile. If you truly want to harden your mind, you must learn to stop seeking approval and start trusting yourself. The truth is that no matter what you do in life, there will always be people who doubt you. There will be people who question your decisions, criticize your goals, or underestimate your abilities. Some may do it intentionally, and others may do it simply because they cannot see the vision you see. If you allow their opinions to control your mindset, you will spend your life walking in the direction of other people's expectations instead of your own purpose. Many people never chase their dreams because they're afraid of what others might think. They worry about being judged, laughed at, or rejected. This fear quietly holds them back. They stay in situations that make them unhappy because it feels safer than facing criticism. They silence their ideas because they are afraid they might fail in front of others. But a hardened mind understands something powerful. The opinions of others do not define your potential. Every great achievement in history began with someone believing in an idea that others did not fully understand. Vision often looks strange to people who cannot see the bigger picture. When you decide to pursue something meaningful, there will always be individuals who question your path. That is not a sign that you are wrong. It is simply part of the process. If you constantly wait for approval before taking action, you will always move slowly. You will hesitate before making decisions. You will second guess yourself. And every time someone disagrees with you, your confidence will shake. Mental strength comes from building an inner belief that does not depend on external validation. It comes from knowing who you are, what you want, and why you are working toward it. When you develop that clarity, other people's opinions lose their power over you. This does not mean you ignore advice or refuse to listen to others. Wisdom often comes from learning different perspectives, But there is a difference between learning from others and living for their approval. A strong mind listens, evaluates, and then decides its own direction. When you stop chasing approval, you also free yourself from the pressure of trying to please everyone. One of the biggest sources of stress in life is the constant attempt to meet everyone's expectations. You try to satisfy your family, your friends, your colleagues, and society all at once. Eventually, you become exhausted because it is impossible to please everyone. A hardened mind understands that not everyone will support your path. Some people may disagree with your choices. Some may not understand your vision. And some may even criticize your efforts. But their reactions do not determine whether your journey is valuable. Confidence grows when you begin making decisions based on your values instead of other people's opinions. You begin to trust your instincts. You start taking responsibility for your actions and their outcomes. There will be moments when people doubt you. They may say that your goals are unrealistic, that your plans will fail, or that you should choose a safer path. In those moments, it is easy to feel discouraged. But remember that doubt often comes from fear, and many people project their own fears onto others. If someone has never taken risks, they may not understand why you are willing to try. If someone has never chased a dream, they may not understand why you refuse to settle. Their perspective is shaped by their experiences, not by your potential. A hardened mind does not become bitter toward criticism. Instead, it learns to filter it. Constructive feedback can be valuable because it helps you improve. But negative opinions that are meant to discourage you should not control your direction. Learning to separate helpful advice from limiting criticism is an important skill. When you develop this ability, you become more focused and confident. You no longer feel the need to explain every decision or justify every step of your journey. Another important part of letting go of approval is accepting that mistakes will happen. When you rely on your own decisions, you will sometimes fail. But failure is not something to fear. It is part of learning and growth. People who depend heavily on approval often avoid risks because they are afraid of making mistakes in front of others. But those who trust themselves understand that mistakes are simply lessons in disguise. Every setback teaches you something valuable. When you stop seeking approval, you also discover a deeper sense of freedom. You begin to live more authentically. Your actions become aligned with your values instead of being shaped by outside pressure. This freedom strengthens your mind because it removes a major source of doubt. Instead of constantly wondering whether others agree with you, you focus on whether your actions move you closer to your goals. Over time, this mindset builds a powerful inner confidence. You become less shaken by criticism and less distracted by praise. You remain steady whether people support you or doubt you. Eventually, you realize something important. The most powerful validation you will ever receive comes from knowing that you stayed true to your path and gave your best effort. And when you reach that point, when your confidence no longer depends on the approval of others, your mind becomes far stronger than any outside opinion. There will be moments in life when everything inside you tells you to stop. Moments when the effort feels too heavy, when the results seem too far away, and when the road ahead looks longer than you ever expected. In those moments, quitting will appear to be the easiest option. Your mind will begin to search for reasons to step back, to slow down, to walk away from the struggle. But if you truly want to harden your mind, you must build the habit of refusing to quit. The truth is that every meaningful journey includes moments where giving up feels tempting. Even the strongest individuals face doubt, exhaustion, and frustration. They experience setbacks that make them question whether continuing is worth the effort. The difference is not that they never feel like quitting. The difference is that they have trained themselves not to act on that feeling. Quitting is rarely a sudden decision. It usually begins with small compromises. You tell yourself that missing one day does not matter. You convince yourself that taking a longer break will not hurt your progress. You allow excuses to slowly replace discipline. Over time, those small compromises weaken your commitment until the goal that once inspired you slowly fades away. A hardened mind does not allow that pattern to take control. It understands that persistence is built through daily choices. Every time you choose to continue despite difficulty, you strengthen your mental resilience. Every time you push forward when quitting feels easier, you prove to yourself that your determination is stronger than your doubts. Life will test your commitment in ways you cannot always predict. There will be obstacles that delay your progress. There will be failures that shake your confidence. There will be days when the work feels repetitive and exhausting. In those moments, it is easy to believe that stopping would bring relief. But relief is temporary. Quitting may remove the pressure for a short time, but it also removes the possibility of achieving the goal you once cared about. And deep down, most people know when they have quit too early. That quiet regret stays in the back of their minds because they wonder what might have happened if they had simply continued. Building the habit of never quitting does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending that everything is easy. It means accepting that difficulty is part of the process and deciding that you will keep moving forward anyway. Sometimes persistence means taking one more step when you feel like you have no energy left. Sometimes it means trying again after failure, instead of allowing that failure to define your future. And sometimes it means trusting that progress is happening even when you cannot see immediate results. Many people underestimate the power of consistency. They look for dramatic breakthroughs or instant success, but real progress is often built through steady effort over long periods of time. When you refuse to quit, you give yourself the time necessary for growth to happen. Think about how many opportunities have been lost simply because someone gave up too soon. They were closer to improvement than they realized, but frustration convinced them to stop. Success is often hidden behind the final moments of persistence. A hardened mind understands that setbacks are not the end of the journey. They are simply part of the learning process. When something goes wrong, you adjust, you learn, and you try again. You refuse to let one mistake or one difficult moment determine the outcome of your entire effort. Resilience is not built in comfortable situations. It is built when you continue despite fatigue, despite disappointment, and despite uncertainty. Those are the moments when your character is truly being shaped. Over time, persistence becomes part of your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who does not quit easily. That self-image becomes powerful because it influences the way you respond to challenges. When difficulty appears, Your first instinct is no longer to step back. Your instinct becomes to find a way through it. This mindset changes the way you approach problems. Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, you see them as puzzles that can be solved. Instead of feeling defeated by setbacks, you see them as lessons that guide your next attempt. Another powerful effect of persistence is the confidence it builds. Each time you overcome a challenge, you remind yourself that you are capable of enduring hardship. That memory becomes a source of strength during future struggles. Eventually, you begin to realize that your greatest victories often come after your most difficult moments. The times when you felt closest to quitting were often the times when you were on the edge of growth. The world is full of talented individuals who never reached their potential because they stopped too soon. They allowed temporary frustration to convince them that their efforts were pointless. But those who refuse to quit give themselves the opportunity to transform effort into achievement. Persistence does not guarantee that every attempt will succeed, but it guarantees that you will continue learning, improving, and moving closer to your goals. It keeps the door of possibility open. As you continue practicing this mindset, quitting becomes less and less appealing. You begin to understand that temporary discomfort is a small price to pay for long-term growth. Your mind becomes stronger because it has been trained to endure challenges instead of escaping them. And when your mind reaches that level of resilience, you begin to carry a quiet confidence that cannot easily be shaken. You know that no matter how difficult the journey becomes, you have the strength to keep moving forward. Because in the end, the strongest minds are not the ones that never struggle, but the ones that refuse to give up when the struggle appears.